Greetings, comrades. We continue discussing the white paper as presented by the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Mtswaleti. In the section under immigration, it talks about the exemption permits that were granted to Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and Angolan nationals. The first part deals with the genesis of exemptions, which it says that the exemptions for various purposes have been in existence since 1913. So the exemptions were not only granted in 2010, but their existence dates back to 1913 and were regulated in terms of the Immigration Regulations Act. This act was amended several times and later replaced by the Admission of Persons to the Republic Act. The power of exemption with the widest effect was under the 1937 Alliance Act prior to the said legislation. It continues, the purpose of the 1937 Alliance Act was enacted with the purpose of, inter alia, to regulate the admission, residential status of those citizens from Commonwealth countries who previously had unrestricted right of entry into and residence in the country when the then citizens of the Union were still citizens of the Commonwealth. Then it continues, the Alliance Act of 1937 also provided exemptions which were granted in terms of Section 7Bs and also provided for exclusion from or withdrawal of exemptions. These exclusions and withdrawals could be done individual or per category. And then this exemption says continued under the Alliance Control Act 96 of 1991. The Alliance Control Amendment Act 76 of 1995 says briefly, the powers of exemptions by the Minister is provided for in Section 15 of the Alliance Control Amendment Act. So in other words, the Minister of Home Affairs has always had the right to grant exemptions to people that he thought or she thought needed to be granted those exemptions. So it says continuation of the exemption regime under Section 31 of the Immigration Act 13 of 2002. Section 31 of the Immigration Act provides for the continuation of the exemption regime. And then as we draw to conclusion, then the last part deals with the exemptions that were granted from 2009. That is the granting of the DZP, Documentation Zimbabwe Project, to Zimbabweans, which are now Zimbabwe exemption permits, and the Lesotho permits that were granted, and to Angolan nationals. It then speaks to briefly about the court cases that the minister, the court cases that Helen Suzman Foundation and others versus the Minister of Home Affairs, and also here speaks that says that the minister has decided to go to the Constitutional Court after he had lost in the lower courts. It says, let me read this part. It says, the minister has applied for leave to appeal the negative judgments of the full court. The applications have been dismissed. The minister has now applied for leave to appeal to Supreme Court of Appeal. In this part that I am reading, and of course, our legal team, as we said in the last video, is working on this to advise us. It doesn't show if the exemptions are going to be removed or Section 31 of the Immigration Act, whether it is proposed that it should be removed so that exemptions will not be granted. So taken from what is here, without any proof from the section that we have dealt with, that exemptions will be removed. So exemptions will continue under the new white paper, unless, of course, as I'm saying, because I do not want to misrepresent anyone or mislead anyone for that matter, is that our legal team is preparing a detailed summary on how this is going to affect migrants, even those that wish to come and work in South Africa. those who are in their countries of origin currently who are planning to apply and relocate to South Africa. So our legal team is working on an analysis of this, on how this is going to impact. But as we are saying, we do not think that exemptions will be removed. The minister will continue to enjoy the powers that he currently enjoys. Please write in the comment section, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, goodbye.